Today we are going to talk about the cultural challenges for Chinese business in the UK. I'm Hong Jianhao. This is my group member, Qiu Zijian, Zhang Ce, Xue, and Wu Fangting. Next is our presentation contents. First of all, I will go to do the introduction and a part of the macro environment difference. And this part, Qiu Zijian will go to finish it. And second is the Zhang Ce. He will go to do the cultural challenges. And then Xue will go to talk about the analyze on cultural difference. And the last, Wu Fangting will go to talk about the strategy and the conclusions. Let's move on the part 1 introduction. Okay. First of all, let's understand the background of the C banner. Some shoes stored in house of the fresher will be closed after the acquisitions of the families. In China, many footwear companies go bankrupt because there is not room for development. According to strategy, the market value of C banner has exceeded 100 million points. However, the company still has some potentials, crises, and shortcomings. On the other hand, the internal situations of the companies will limit the development of the companies. The second part will analyze the company from the 6 factors: political, economic, social, environment, technology, and legal. So this is the part 2 macro environment difference. Next, I will go to talk about the political factors. So the Brexit have a great impact of the tax policy of the UK. Both of the British tax law are enforced by British law and operated in accordance with the EU laws, while VAT is collect and operate in the accordance with the EU rules. So, any significant change in UK tax policy is likely to come from VTA. VTA is meant in the direct tax rather than income tax and in national insurance. Insurance is the direct tax. The uncertainties of the growth expectations and the deadline in the trade and investments will also reduce labor market demand and consumer welfare for ordinary people. First, inhibit economic development. So this is the legal matter. This one is the trade regulation systems. It means this protect the service and the investment. And in legal schemes, the firms holding the companies enjoy the same treatment and as the local companies in the UK and can engage in various forms of the investment and business activity in the UK. So they have the important connections. This one is the social cultural factors. You can see it's the cultural difference. The first one is the different values. Second one is the historical background. And the third one is the population's distributions. And about the Brexit, the one hand is the right to buy and own property. And the other hand is the right to travel, live, work, and retail within the EU. That's all of my part. Next, let the Qiu Zijian to talk about the next one. Welcome.
Thanks, Hong Jianhao. And next part, I will interview the economy factors. The data was collected last week, and we can clearly to see that the charts, the exchange rates between the GBP and the RMB ups and downs significantly. And since the last years and fell to the lowest point of the 8.35 in the juries, and we think this exchange rates will affect the companies when enter the UK. Next part it is the BRICS. Enter the UK, it has the points and cons. The first I will interview the ports. 这个挺，我要换个词。Next part is BRICS. There are advantage and disadvantage when company enter the UK. First of all, is the advantage. The UK has a good investment from China. The liberal treatments, there are 31% China FDIs, means the UK's will makes closer link with the China's, and they will use the policies to attract the investments. CBNS is a central old empire. It means they will attract a lot of customers and reduce the negative economic impact on BRICS. The next part is the disadvantage. One of the most disadvantage is the trade files. The UK is left out the EU. It means the UK become a single market and the customer units. It means they will pay more money or the extra the fundings when they are import or export the goods. The next point is employment. Economic policy no longer apply to EU workers or not EU workers. It means the companies may pay the extra fares when they are employ the staff. Let's talk about China. China is a socialist market in economics. The government encourage the common development of the multi-price ownership economies. They will use the fundings to support the enterprise to go out. And the next point is the goods tire industries marketing investments. The famous companies will get more funding support and they will enter the China's marketing easily. Next part is the technology features. In China, there have the internet evolutions 2.0. It means they have a higher technology to support the to retire industries developments. Also, the UK's the government supporting the commercial activities of emerging technology. It means in the UK they will have the good developments in the future. In the next part is the technology factors. In China, when the economy developments, also they will bring some problems from the environment. The pollutions and slow down sustainable developments. But for the UK, they have a 25 years plans to improve the investments. They will protect investment, develop better. So that is my part. So next part, let me welcome to my friends, Zhang Ce.
Thanks for Marco's speech. I'm Zhang Ce. Let me enter my part, the challenges of cultural differences. My content can be divided into two parts, internal operation of the company and the external operation of the company. So let me present something about the internal operation. China is a country that traditionally attached importance to social status and respect for the similarity. So most of the time, manager will be respected. Decision making is mostly made by senior manager. However, in some Western countries, which emphasize the social equality, their organizational hierarchy is flat. It means there may have more informal communication and emphasizing the cooperation of the whole organization and empowering employees to question their senior manager's decision. Due to China is a power respecting country and UK is a powerful tolerant country, there will be some challenges in cooperation. For example, the decision making which made by Chinese senior manager may be questioned by Western employees. It will lead to cultural conflict in cooperation. Next aspect is the differences in communication. The reason why I regard communication as one of the factors that impacts the external operation is I think communication is an important basic for enterprise negotiation. Chinese negotiation group may seek in during negotiation to tax others' patience and maximize their profits. But Western businessmen may misunderstanding this unreasonable and think that Chinese negotiation group doesn't show their respect. So the communication cultural difference may affect the outcome of the negotiation or even lead to the end of the negotiation. So that's all my content. Let's welcome Xu Yue to introduce her part.
Thanks, Zhang Ce. And now I'm going to talk about the cultural difference between United Kingdom and China. I will divide the difference into three parts. They are power distance, collectivism or individualism, long or short orientation, and I will explain them in order. First of all, let us look at power distance. According to an online research, it can show that China is a high power distance country, while the United Kingdom is a low power distance country. In China, a lot of people respect authority. It means if you work in a company, the superiors will tell you what you need to do and you need to follow the orders to finish your work. So the superiors always have more power than the employee. But in United Kingdoms, when the superiors want to give assignments to the employee, they will ask them whether they're willing to do this job or not. If they are unwilling to do it, they will do some adjustment. So the superiors and employees sometimes is in the same level. Secondly, we focus on the collectivism or individualism. It can be clearly seen that from the right side data. China is a collectivist country, while the United Kingdom is an individualist country. People in collectivist countries attach great importance to collectivism and make decisions through a group meeting or discussion. For example, in China's companies, if the general managers want to promote a project, he will call all the senior managers to make a meeting and get together to discuss it. And everyone needs to give their opinion before decision whether to implement the project or not. This is benefit to the whole organization. But in individualism countries, employees are requested to communicate with each other. They will only complete tasks according to the instruction given by the management and keep their own ideas. So based on the first and second points, if seed banners want to open a new companies in the UK, they will encounter great challenge in management because the working habits of the employees are very different from those in China. And employees are likely to disobey their superiors. As a result, it will slowing down the work progress. Finally, let us look at long or short-term orientation. China is a long-term orientation country, while the United Kingdom is a short-term orientation country. In Chinese companies, the holders of the companies were thinking about the futures markets. They will evaluate what situations and difficulties they will meet in a new market and have a lot of plan to through these situations. Sometimes they will launch plan A at first, and if it doesn't work, they will push off the plan B, and they will be willing to make some change to adapt to the current market. But in United Kingdom, they would focus more on the short-term aid and unwilling to change traditional things. They will keep their own mind and not willing to accept the new things. So that's all my parts. And next, Wu Fangting will talk about the relevance strategy.
Thanks, Xu and next part I will talk about the relevance strategy. And based on above comparison and analyze, I come up with some relevance strategies to solve this problem as much as possible. And firstly, I will talk about the strategy for the internal culture difference. I see employees and managers from all over the world, and they need to build a common value on the base of the culture difference and seek common ground while reserving difference and find the common cultural grounds accepted by both sides. In addition, I think the companies may implement a localization management strategies. For example, when the McDonald's opens in the Japan, it gives the franchise to the local Japanese, and this is can better to integration of the companies and the local culture. Lastly, I think company can strengthen cross-culture trainings and make the employee can know each other cultures and communicate better. On the other hand, I will talk about strategies for the external culture difference. I think the company can change the selling strategy for the local customers because the marketing position is different in the different countries, like the product requirements and the target customers. Because the target customer is depend on this country's GDP and their income, and it will affect the customer choice of the product. And for example, like Zara, and Zara is a global trend course store, and it hire the designers from different countries and to combine local styles. In terms of the macro environment strategies, as on the one hand, make use of the comparative advantage and overcome the disadvantage, and on the other hand, reduce the operating costs and improve the international competitiveness. At the end, I will talk about short conclusions. In conclusions, we use the PESTEL to analyze the investment and development environment of the UK and the economic program after the Brexit, and talk about the company's internal and external strategies. And it might talk about the difference in the level and working habits that the company may face inside and the communication difference that company may face outside. And we talk about the cultural difference focus on the difference in the power distance, individualism and collectivism between the China and the Britain. And at the end, we we present some relevant strategies to solve these challenges. And that's all my conclusions. And there are our reference list. And thank you.